Hey guys, Sky here. So I got a paint job going on here. I thought you might like to see a video of. I'm going to be doing a patina paint job on this. It's a 2024 Indian. So there's about 8-9 parts on this bike. It's from Fort Myers, and I will be doing a patina paint job. All they ask is that it's Indian red, and I can add some gold accents. They want the Indian logo on the side of the tank. I'm going to give it a washed out look. I'm also going to add some pinstripes. I'm also going to add some rust spots dripping down from various areas, and hopefully a couple sand throughs to metal. And then I'm going to put some candy over that. So you'll learn how I do this. I've done a couple patina paint jobs on cars and motorcycles, and I think they came out pretty awesome. Then once it's done, we're going to go ahead and clear coat it with a matte finish clear. And I use a flattening agent in gloss clear to get the matte finish. So anyways, this is the first portion of this video. Stay tuned if you'd like to see how I do this. I'm doing the videoing by myself, so it'll be kind of difficult. I'll just do sections here and there and splice them together, and hopefully you like the video. Thumbs up if you do. I appreciate you watching. Okay guys, I'm back. As you can see, I just got done spraying the gray, the simulated primer. The old lacquer primer. Back in the day, we used to call this hacker primer. But anywho's, this is what I've done so far. I did the gray. Now the key to doing this is, whether you're using a red oxide type base coat, looking base coat, or the gray like I'm using here, is make sure you got plenty on here. If you don't, what'll happen is that when you start sanding your edges, you'll sand through to the base coat itself, the original base coat. And in my case, some of these parts I had to prime, like the side of the tank, because it had an original Indian on there. So you don't want to go down to the yellow new school urethane primer, 2K primer. So I did that, and some of these parts, including, let's see, side covers, and this cover here, these were wrinkle finished. So I had to do a lot of sanding on there, so I completely primed them. So I put enough gray primer on all the parts. So when I do my sand through the red and the pinstripe, I'll go to the gray. Now, not that big of a deal on some of these parts. If I go through and I go back down to the original black, like right here, actually it looked pretty cool. So now normally, as you saw in my videos, I like doing pinstripes first. So what I would do is spray this area gold, lay some 1/8 inch pinstripe, put the red down. I'm not doing it this way on this job, because if I do the gold fading here, or just this area, and put the pinstripe down, spray the red, come back and do my sand throughs, I'm going to end up showing that gold. I don't want that gold to show. I want to go from the red to the gray. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to mask these areas off where the pinstripes go. So it's coming along, it's still dry, it's still wet. Again, this is not sealer. All this is just a white and black base coat that I put together, and I just wanted it to simulate primer. I got plenty of coats on here. I probably put about 4 coats, 1-to-1 mix, and it's come along. So thanks for tuning in, and on to the next step. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I sprayed the gold on some of these parts, and I sprayed a simulated Indian red on the rest of the parts. One thing I want you to notice is, you can see, if you really look, you'll see some of the gray through the red. So the reason I do that is by design, because I'm going to be sanding through a lot of this anyway. In fact, this bottom corner, I don't even have hardly any paint at all. So it makes it a lot easier. No sense in putting like 4 or 5 coats of this stuff on there, your paint on there, and then it just makes it really hard to sand through. So I'm pretty much going to sand every part, the whole part. So, and also keep in mind, I did put a little more on the sides than the top. And that's because if this was a 50-year-old paint job, of course the sides remain a little better than the top surfaces. So I made it easier to do my sand throughs on the top surface. So I'll be doing the edges. Those wear faster, so you got to envision realistically a 50-year-old paint job. So the gold is fairly thin. I got it covered, and I stopped. I'm going to add some shadowing. I'll do some sand throughs, but not as much as I do on the red. The red against the gray will be an awesome contrast. And as you can see, if I did this almost is a red oxide primer. So it wouldn't look good, so I went with the gray, even though red oxide lacquer was more popular back then. So anyways, here's where we're at right now. I'm gonna let the base coat dry a little bit, and then we'll dig in some more. Okay, now for the fun part. So I let this dry probably an hour or so. Here's what I use: 180, 320, fresh Scotch-Brite. So basically what I'll do, I'll start off real slow and see how much red I actually have on here and just play around with it. I'm gonna do my sand throughs. I'll start with 320 because it's obviously the finest besides just Scotch-Brite, which I think is equivalent to maybe a 400. So you start seeing the gray. Now I'll pretty much go over this whole fender. I'm even going to do a sand through here, all the way through to metal. Well, it's hard doing when I'm holding the camera. So then what I'll do, once I go to the metal, I'll mix up some Pagan Gold and Candy Tangerine KK with some House of Color and mix it with some base clear, and then I'll dust it over that bare metal so it looks like it's actually rusting. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this fender. I'm going to take a picture of it and include it in the upper right hand corner so you can take a look at it, see what it looks like when it's done. Get the rear fender ready to go. And all this will probably take me an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'll get into doing the rust spots, adding the tangerine Pagan Gold mix over the bare metal, just adding special effects, adding some, I'm even going to do some black shading too. So anyways, that's it for now. I'll check back soon, show you the results. Earlier I painted this dash gold, so here's a little thing I'm going to do here. I got this all masked off. What I'm going to do is dust a little black on here, and then I'm going to do some sand throughs, make it look wash patinaed. And the gold will remain in the recessed area of the eye. So pretty much the same thing I did over here on the headlight shroud. You can see I dusted some black on there and did a Scotch-Brite, and it left the black inside the Indian lettering. So it gives it a wash look. And if you also notice, I did the raised edges of the headlight pocket there. I did that real good. I sanded through to the gray. It looks real nice. I got bare metal on the front fender here. I'll later on put some candy on that. The candy Pagan Gold Candy Tangerine mix. So I just want to show you this, and I'll take a picture of this dash once it's all done, or not all done, but once I get done with this effect, and I'll put that up in the corner too. So hope you're enjoying the video. Okay, here's what we got so far. So I did some sand throughs on the gold parts. Did them on the crimson parts. So next thing I'm going to do is add some pinstripes on the sides of the fenders and the tank. I don't have the Indian head stencils yet, so I'm just doing what I can today. So I add the pinstripes. I make sure I have a big enough area for the Indian to go in. I'm going to do those pinstripes in gold. They're going to be very delicate. That's why I did those after I did the sand throughs on the tank and fenders. So also you'll note that I put the headlight, I marked it back up, the headlight ring and the bucket itself. So the tops are more faded looking than the sides. And I want to make sure any scratches that I had on top, went from the ring to the bucket. And you'll see how good the dash came out. I'm going to add some more color onto that. So, and then after that, what I'm going to do is add some the Pagan Gold Tangerine mix KK, which is over here, KK12, KK08, probably about 4 drops each, not much at all. You'd rather have it under strength than over strength. And I also got some base coat clear, not much at all, because by the time I reduce that, I'll have plenty to do in the airbrush. So you can see how this came out. That came out real good. The eye on the dash for Indian. See that? That came out good. So that's where I'm at right now. So gonna still add some more effects to this, but it's coming along. I wanted to show you guys how I laid this 1/8 inch pinstripe out. As you can see, I used the green tape basically as a guide, and then I laid my fine line on the outside of that. So I used the green tape obviously because it's quite a bit cheaper than the orange tape. So that's how I lay this out. If you see my other video, how to lay a pinstripe backwards, you'll see this is a lot harder, a lot more masking, not as consistent as if you do it the pinstripe first. But I could not do that because, again, let me explain this to you. If I sprayed the gold area first around here and just laid a piece of tape down, and then I did all this work, and my sand through would have went to the gold first. So I don't have this problem here. The only gold is just the pinstripe itself. So anyway, be sure and check out my other video, how to lay a pinstripe first, and it'll save you a lot of trouble if you are a lot of time if you're a motorcycle painter. I am back, and as you can see, I got the pinstripes all laid out, got them sprayed. I did some sand throughs on that, kind of weathered them up a little bit. So my next step, I'll show you what I'm going to do out here on the bench. So basically I took the red color that I have and put some black in it. So I got it to about this dark. I got some in my gun. I've already practiced this, or at least set up the gun so I can show you what I'm getting ready to do. I turn the pressure way down. I mean, probably 2-3 pounds. And what I do is just let this dribble out. Of course, the lower it is, the bigger the droplets will be. This is a great effect if you want to do like a granite look and put some cracks in the granite and everything. I did that many years ago. It came out absolutely awesome. You use grays and blacks and whites. Comes out real good. So anyway, I'm going to do little patches here and there on like the fenders in the tank. Not much at all. And then I'll dust my Pagan Gold Candy Tangerine mix over those areas so it looks like it's surface rust. So I'll show you the effect once I get all done. Here's where we stand. I'm still waiting for the Indian head logo stencils. They should be done today. Looking real good. Looks like it's a 50-year-old paint job, so I'm going to clear coat it as soon as I put the Indian heads on there and make it, give it a distressed look. So come along. Just want to give you an update. Okay, I got the stencils. As you can see, I sprayed some water on here to give it another effect. So I'll wipe this off and the red will remain. I'll show you in a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to take all the paper off and the tape and do a little sanding. I'll show you what it looks like. As you can see, I just got done clear coating these parts. They're still glossy, so they'll be dyeing back pretty soon. Usually it takes about 2 hours. So for you guys that want a nice matte finish, I'll put all the ingredients that I put down below. And you can use what I have. I like the One Choice flattening agent. I've worked with that for quite some time. You can use pretty much any clear you want. They got instructions for all the clears. I use House of Color though on this particular job. A tip for you guys, if you find that some of your graphics, like if you put a logo on or thick pinstripes, something like that, your best bet, since you can't wet sand and buff these smooth, is to go ahead and clear coat them with gloss clear, go ahead and sand them flat, and then you go ahead and put your flattening clear on there. So that will make it nice and smooth for you so you don't feel any edge. And you only have to gloss clear all the parts that you have the graphics on. So you want to catch them up to the smoothness of the other parts that don't have graphics. Like this one here, you know, obviously I wouldn't have to gloss clear it. This here, the little bumps from when I sprayed it, you can see it. Those would be fine. I mean, it kind of adds to the paint job. It looks like rust bubbles, rust specks. So anyway, I'm gonna let this dye out. You can see this piece right here starting to dye out. And I'll take one more short video of this. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure and give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And one more segment. See you soon. Okay, here it is, the finished paint job. I went ahead and put the dash on top of the tank just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like when it's installed on the bike. So you can see the effect that spraying the water on the Indian before I put the gold over it has. The eye on the dash came out real nice. Sheen is good. There's the rear fender. Fork covers. See how that came out? That came out real nice. Then we get the headlight bucket, front fender. Then we got the side panels and this cover. I think it came out real good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and more videos coming. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.